SpongeBob is undoubtedly one of the greatest cartoons ever made. Everything from the comedy to the art style and the character designs and their personalities, they all contribute to SpongeBob's status as a legendary cartoon. But for me, the one thing that really ties it all together is the music. Of course, you have the background music in the early episodes, which is so incredibly immersive. But the show also contains a lot of musical numbers which have become iconic in their own right, which is going to be the focus of this video because the Yellow Album, released in 2005, is a collection of 23 songs that appear in the first few seasons of the show, and I'm going to rank each song from this album in a tier list in order to find out what the best songs from the best cartoon ever made are. So, without further ado, let's begin.
Are ya ready, kids? I can't hear you! Oh!
The album opens with the theme song, and I think this theme song is probably the best theme song ever made. It's whimsical, it's eclectic, it's full of personality, and it's instantly recognizable. I feel like most TV show theme songs can just be classified as good or decent, and they're never really brought up when discussing the show itself, but the SpongeBob theme song stands in a league of its own and sets the standard for what a theme song should aspire to be. So I'm gonna put it in S tier. I feel like I'm gonna say the word iconic a lot in this video, but there's really no other way to describe Sweet Victory. Not only is it a banger, but its placement in the show is perfect. I think it really captures the catharsis of Squidward's lifelong dream of being a successful musician finally paying off when he gets to see his band deliver the greatest halftime performance of all time at the end of the Band Geeks episode. Also, this doesn't affect the ranking, but I do think it's kind of weird that this is the second track on the album and not the last one or the penultimate one, especially since the difference between this song and the theme song is in itself kind of hilarious, but I guess it goes to show how versatile the music in the show is. So anyways, I'm gonna put it in S tier.
I'm the biggest loser on the beach. They buried me in the sand and forgot me.
Ripped Pants is a great episode on its own, but the song that SpongeBob sings at the end, I think elevates it to being one of the best in the entire show. I love how this song has that summer beach vibe to it. It really matches the aesthetic of the music that soundtracks the early seasons. The vocal performances are great, and the song is just catchy and silly in the best way possible, so S tier.
Alright, you invertebrates, I'm gonna teach you how to do the sponge.
Doing the Sponge is the song that the DJ plays at the end of the episode where SpongeBob takes Pearl to the prom. And like most of the songs on the show, it's pretty goofy and it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's a funny song and it's also a bop, so A tier. I think this one's the first dud on the album. This one appears in the Inflatable Pants episode, which isn't one of my favorites in the show, to be honest. But even when putting that aside, I just don't think this is very well written. I think the lyrics are kind of lazy and the rhymes are pretty obvious. And there's even one line that's kind of awkward and breaks the flow of the song because there aren't enough syllables to keep the rhythm consistent. And I guess they didn't feel like rewriting it to make it flow more smoothly. I hate to say it because SpongeBob is my GOAT, but I gotta put this one in F tier. Gary's song, which is commonly referred to as Gary Come Home, is, I think, the best song in the entire show. The lyrics are genuinely pretty heartbreaking and poignant, and the vocal performance is also full of emotion. If you have a pet, it's impossible not to get at least a little emotional when listening to the song. So this one's easily going in S tier. The Sweater Song, aka the Striped Sweater Song, is the song that SpongeBob sings in the episode As Seen on TV when some angry customers are at the Krusty Krab and they're demanding their food, and SpongeBob, instead of cooking their food, tries to entertain them with this little improvised ballad. It's a pretty funny bit, but it's not amazing or anything from a musical standpoint, so I'm gonna put it in C tier. This one's another short song that's also just used in the show as part of a bit, but it's a really funny bit. It just cracks me up thinking of this guy who's so impressed by jellyfish jelly that he breaks out into song and starts singing this over-the-top jazz tune and dancing on the tables and everything. I reference this one all the time, so A tier. This one plays during the walk cycle animation part of the episode The Sponge Who Could Fly. I'm getting some pretty strong nautical nonsense vibes from this one, but the dolphin noises are a bit much, so D tier. Underwater Sun is a straight up surf rock banger. I love the chorus. I think the chorus is the best part of the song, but I will say that the verses are really cheesy. I think too cheesy for me, but overall it's still a good song, so I'll put it in B tier. This one appears briefly in the Bossy Boots episode. It also stands out on the album because it's the only song that sounds quite like this. I don't really know how to describe the sound of this song, but it genuinely just sounds pretty cool and it's one of my favorites on the album, so I'm gonna put it in A tier. This is the rap song performed by Caveman Patrick and the robot in the episode When Worlds Collide. It's a short song, but it's a fun one, and the robot's got some bars, so I'll put it in B tier. Jellyfish Jam is not the EDM song that plays when SpongeBob is partying with all the jellyfish in his house. That song appears later on the album and is called Stadium Rave, which appears in the episode called Jellyfish Jam, hence the mix-up. Anyways, I have a pretty unique relationship with this song. Back in high school, I took this art class where at the beginning of the semester, the teacher passed around a piece of paper and asked everyone to write down songs for a Spotify playlist. And what ended up happening was very few people actually contributed to the playlist, and of the few who did, a lot of them just chose meme songs. So for that semester, I spent 2 to 3 hours a week listening to probably the most annoying playlist ever made, which was fun. Anyways, this song was on that playlist. I'm guessing whoever suggested it meant to suggest Stadium Rave instead. And it did get really annoying over time, but even then, I think it was one of the better songs on that playlist, to be honest. And I also think I'm one of the very few people who can say I've heard the song at least 50 times in my life, which I guess there's that. Anyways, all that being said, how do I feel about the song now? It's a vibe. B tier. I think the Campfire Song is the funniest song in the whole show. Like, I laugh every single time I hear this one, and obviously it's one of the classics, so I gotta put it in S tier.
Nobody gives a care about the fate of labor as long as they can get their instant gratification.
This one appears in the episode Squid on Strike. I love that they made this bluegrass, anti-capitalist protest song. I really wish it was longer, but I love it, so I'm gonna put it in A tier. This is the song that plays when SpongeBob is partying with all the jellyfish in his house. And I don't have much to say about it other than it's another one of the most iconic songs in the show, and it's just a straight up banger, so easily this one's gotta go in S tier. This one is another show tune from the Inflatable Pants episode, and I also don't really like it. It's not very unique, it's not very well written, but I don't hate it, so I'm just gonna put it in D tier.
Da 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 dum. Da 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 dum.
This is basically a silly SpongeBob version of the Blue Danube, and it appears in the season 1 episode where SpongeBob and Patrick are teaching Squidward how to jellyfish. You know the one.
さあ、これが君の網だって。
This one is less of a musical number and more of like a quick joke that references the original piece, so I'm just gonna put it in C tier. So this is the song that plays in the Wormy episode during the montage where SpongeBob and Patrick are playing with the worm that Sandy asked them to take care of while she was out of town. It sounds like your typical pop rock song, but it still sounds pretty nice. This is another one of the really short songs on the album, but it's one of the better ones, so I'll put it in B tier. This song appears briefly in the episode Midlife Crustacean when Mr. Krabs tries to listen to the radio, and then the song that plays on the radio is just reminding him that he's old. It's funny, but it's not amazing or anything, and while I do appreciate that the album has an extended version of the song, the extended portion is just mostly instrumental, and musically it's not one of my favorites, so I'm just gonna put it in D tier.
How about a little music to count me money to?
This is the song that Mr. Krabs really likes that goes beep boop, beep beep boop.
No, man, you're thinking of beep boo boo bop boo boo bop.
This one's also an extended version. Kind of. It just repeats the same loop for like 30 seconds. And in a way, it's pretty iconic because this song has kind of lived a second life as a meme. So I guess I gotta give it points for that, but musically it's the equivalent of a quick sketch on a sticky note, so I'm gonna put it in C tier. This is an instrumental Hawaiian-style rendition of Jingle Bells, and I think it appears in the first Christmas episode. Aesthetically, it's pretty similar to the various Hawaiian-influenced ukulele songs that appear in the early seasons, and it's just a really fun song, so I'm gonna put it in A tier. The final song on the album is an alternate version of the closing theme, which appears in the episode Ugh. I think it's kind of an odd choice to put this on the album instead of the original closing theme, but if you don't mind me going English teacher mode for a second, I guess it could serve as a way of saying that you never really know what to expect with SpongeBob. If I had to describe the sound of this song, I would say it's esoteric and very avant-garde. I don't think my ears like it, but I do really like what it represents in my made-up English teacher interpretation of it, and I'm kind of just making up all the rules here anyways, so I'm gonna put it in S tier, because SpongeBob is my GOAT. So I want to close the video with some overall thoughts on the album. I think the album could have been improved and also could have been more representative of the show's musical sound palette if some of the shorter songs were replaced with the instrumental songs that soundtrack a lot of the early episodes. I think that would have been nice to hear. But overall, it still does a pretty solid job of capturing the show's quirks and its unique sense of humor, and I'm glad it contains a lot of the show's most iconic songs. Let me know what you think of my ranking, and I'll see you next time.